Hey guys, tonight we're diving into what if time froze in the village of Elderglen. Now, before you imagine some cozy snow globe scenario, let me stop you right there. Elderglen isn't cute, it's creepy. Like goosebumps on your goosebumps creepy. Imagine waking up in a place where the church bell never stops echoing, where the bread in your hand stays warm forever, and where the villagers haven't blinked in 600 years. Yup, time froze, literally. So, before you wander too far into this cursed little fairy tale, hit that like button if you enjoy these strange, sleepy what-if scenarios. And tell me in the comments, what would you do if time froze? Would you stay or get the heck out? Now dim the lights, tuck yourself in, and maybe, just maybe, leave one candle burning. Let's step into Elderglen. Narrator. You open your eyes. The air smells like rain, moss, and cinnamon? The ground is muddy, your shoes are gone, and for some reason there's a chicken sitting on your chest. It's staring at you, unblinking. Welcome to Elderglen. You sit up, there's a village ahead, thatch roofs, cobblestone paths, and a disturbing lack of motion. A woman stands at a well, her bucket halfway up the rope, frozen. Not like, oh, I'm just chilling. More like, my soul hit the pause button. You wave, nothing. You shout, no echo. You poke her arm, it jiggles slightly, and then just stays there. Weird. Let's break this down. Elderglen is stuck in the early 1300s. Plague century. Bad dental work century. People believed letting leeches suck you was medicine century. And while everyone here is frozen, the environment isn't. The wind still blows. Leaves still fall. A squirrel scampers by with a mushroom. You? You're moving just fine. Lucky you. But don't get too cocky, because if time stopped for the villagers, but not for you, you're officially the weird one. Also, time isn't paused, it's stuck. Everything repeats. That same squirrel? You'll see him again in 6 minutes, chewing the same mushroom. That church bell rings every hour, forever. You wander into the bakery. There's a tray of perfectly golden honey tarts cooling on the sill. Steam rises. The baker, hands mid-toss of flour, is motionless. You grab a tart. It's warm. You eat it. It's incredible. Then you grab another. Still warm. You leave, walk in a circle, come back. They're still there. Still warm. Uh-oh. Infinite pastry loop. Delicious? Yes. Slightly horrifying? Also yes. You find a journal in the town scribe's hut. It reads, "Time cracked on the eve of St. Bartholomew's fire. We prayed, we pleaded, but the clock denied us." Cool. Who's St. Bartholomew? Why was there a fire? And who the heck cracks time like it's a ceramic plate? Okay, now you're done. This place is creepy. The villagers are mannequins, and you've eaten enough honey tarts to die a second medieval death. You try the main road. It leads you in a circle. You try the forest. It spits you back out near the church. You try walking in a straight line with your eyes closed. Classic cartoon strategy. When you open them again, you're in the same spot. Except now, the woman at the well is looking at you. Oh, she doesn't move, but her eyes do. Just slightly. And you swear the blacksmith's arm wasn't raised that high earlier. You turn. The baker has flour on his nose now. You blink. A child, frozen mid-laugh, is now facing you. So, time isn't just frozen, it's watching or adapting. Or maybe it wants company. Let's get nerdy. Some historians wrote about the phantom villages. Places abandoned suddenly with food still on tables, beds still warm. Folklore calls them time traps, pockets of frozen reality where the past refuses to die. Kind of like when you visit your old Facebook photos. One theory, St. Bartholomew was burned alive during a witch trial. His final curse, may time hold you still until justice finds you. So Elderglen waited, and waited, and maybe it's still waiting for you. The bell tolls again. You feel something shift. like the air just took a deep breath. Your hand brushes against a dusty hourglass on a stone pedestal. It wasn't there before. There's a note, written in fresh ink, "Turn me to stay, or walk away." So what'll it be? Will you join the eternal peace of Elderglen, feasting on honey tarts and never aging a day? Or do you try to run, knowing you might never find a way back here again? Let's rewind. Not a few minutes, but a few centuries. Long before Elderglen became a human snow globe of eternal weirdness, it was just a regular medieval village. Well, regular in the medieval sense, meaning rats the size of cats, public hangings as weekend entertainment, and the constant looming threat of some nobleman taxing your toenails. You know, cozy. But even back then, Elderglen was different. It sat deep inside Wormwood Forest, where the trees grew so tall they blacked out the sun. Locals claimed the roots whispered if you listened too long. Yeah, not exactly your Airbnb weekend getaway. Here's where things get weird. Elderglen had a healer, an odd, quiet man named Barthélemy. Not a priest, not a knight, just a guy who grew herbs, talked to ravens, and cured plague boils with moss. He was loved, but feared, because no one in Elderglen ever got sick. No one ever died, except those who crossed him. And when King's bishop passed through and heard about this miracle man, well, let's just say Barthélemy wasn't given a thank you basket. He was dragged from his cottage, accused of sorcery, and burned at the edge of the village. They say as the flames rose, he didn't scream. He just looked up at the tower clock and whispered, "Then let time be your punishment." The next morning, the sun never rose. The birds didn't sing. The clock tower rang 13 times, and then stopped, forever. At first, villagers thought it was grief, or guilt, or too much mead. But then, the baker noticed his dough never rose. The children stayed children. The crops stayed ripe, but never rotted. Time had stopped, not paused, not reversed, just broken, like a wheel that spun too fast and then snapped. And no matter how far anyone walked, the forest always brought them back. Some say Elderglen became a myth. Others say it's still there, waiting, watching, living out the same cursed hour again, and again, and again. So now you know. Elderglen wasn't cursed randomly. It was justice, or revenge, or just a really, really dramatic breakup with time itself. What do you think? Was Barthélemy a saint, a sorcerer, a misunderstood time traveler with boundary issues? Comment your theory below. I read every single one, unless I get stuck in a time loop too. And hey, if this was your first time hearing the tale of Elderglen, congratulations. You're now part of the story. You can't unread this. Don't blame me if your clocks start ticking funny tonight. So, you did the thing. The thing every horror story warns you not to do. You went inside the church. Because curiosity, dear friend, is your fatal flaw. And let's be real, who can resist a door that says keep out without words, just by the way it breathes? You step through warped oak doors into the chapel. The pews are empty, but every cushion has a faint indentation, as if the congregation just stood up. Candles flicker, though no one lit them. Dust floats in the light, like it's unsure whether to settle or rise. And that sound? No, it's not wind. It's whispering. Latin. Scratchy. Looping. Over and over. Like a record made of cobwebs. At the far end is the altar. Behind it, a staircase. Partially hidden behind heavy velvet drapes. Like someone tried to forget it was there. You pull the curtain aside. Stone steps lead downward into blackness. And naturally, because you watched 0 horror movies growing up, you descend. The cellar smells like old water, burnt books, and wet iron. Your footsteps echo louder than they should. The deeper you go, the heavier everything feels, like the stone itself remembers. You reach the bottom. No skeletons, no bats, no sudden demonic growl, just silence, and a single iron door. It's covered in carvings, symbols, not religious, not runic, somewhere between geometry and insanity. Your fingers brush against them. The metal is warm. You push. The door opens with a sigh. Inside, a library. But not just any library. The books aren't dusty, they're breathing. Pages flutter on their own. Ink shifts slightly as if still drying. A few tomes hum. One emits a soft, steady heartbeat. At the center of the room, on a pedestal of petrified roots, sits a mirror. And it's not reflecting you. You blink. The mirror shows the village, but it's moving. You see the woman at the well, pouring water. The baker tossing flour. The child running through the square. The scene loops, then fast forwards. Rewinds. Pauses. You touch the glass. The child in the reflection stops and looks at you. You yank your hand back. The scene resets. And behind you, somewhere in the shelves, a book falls. You turn. No wind. No mice. Just a leather-bound volume open to a single phrase written in sharp, perfect penmanship. The one who touches time must now decide its rhythm. You look back at the mirror. Your reflection has returned. But something's off. You're smiling. Except you're not. Another pedestal rises from the floor. This one holds a pendulum. It sways slowly, back and forth. Each swing echoing like a heartbeat in a stone chest. Beside it, two buttons. One marked with a sun, one marked with a moon. A plaque reads, "Sun for motion, moon for memory. Choose how the village will wake." You're no Time Lord, you didn't sign up for this. But here you are, standing in a room full of living books, broken clocks, and a cursed mirror with your smile on it. The whispering starts again. But this time, it's not in Latin. It's names. Your name, whispered 1,000 times in 1,000 voices. Old, young, familiar, foreign. You back away. The mirror cracks, just slightly. A sliver splits your smiling reflection in two. Suddenly, the pendulum stops. The buttons begin to dim. Time's tired of waiting. You only get one choice, one moment, 1 second to decide how Elderglen will spin again. Do you push the sun and wake the village, unleashing centuries of frozen souls back into a world that has forgotten them? Or do you choose the moon, locking them forever in perfect memory, where they are safe, but unliving? You inhale. The seller exhales. You raise your hand. And then, so what would you choose? Let me know in the comments. Sun or moon? Motion or memory? And don't just scroll away. This story isn't over. In the next part, we'll follow what happens after that choice. Whether the village wakes or dreams forever. Hit like if this chapter gave you chills, and subscribe if you want to keep exploring the impossible. Because Elderglen remembers you now. And time is watching. When you return to the surface, everything feels different. Not louder, not brighter, just wrong in a way that tries to feel right. The church doors are open now. A breeze flows through the aisle. And someone lit every candle with surgical symmetry. You step out into the village square, and Elderglen is moving. It's subtle at first. A curtain flutters in a window. Oh, the well rope bobs ever so slightly. The bell on the bakery door jingles, though no one enters. It looks peaceful. That kind of storybook peace that seems too perfect, like the weather was pre-selected from a menu. Like someone's trying to convince you it's a regular morning. There's birdsong now, but only one type of bird, and it's repeating. You're cold, but the kind of cold that's not from temperature, it's from the stillness behind things. So you follow the smell of something warm and buttery, the bakery. Inside, it's exactly as you left it. Flour on the floor, Honey tarts cooling. Only now, the baker is moving. Sort of. His hands knead the dough. His chest rises and falls. But his eyes? Still, unblinking. Like someone hit play on his body, but left his mind behind. You speak. He doesn't respond. You wave a hand in front of his face. Nothing. But when you reach for another tart, his head tilts slightly toward you. You freeze. He freezes. For just a moment, the room knows you're there. Then he turns back to his dough. As if your presence was just background noise. The fire in the hearth crackles steadily. Never louder. Never softer. You sit by it. It's warm. Comforting, even. The kind of fire that smells like old pine, melted wax, and slightly burnt hope. There's a book open on the counter, or not a recipe book, a diary. And the ink on the most recent entry is wet. You read, "The clock turned again today. Barthélemy was right. We all woke up, but only some of us came back." You wander the village. People are walking now, feeding chickens, repairing rooftops, tending to gardens. They look like a postcard. Frozen smiles, predictable movements. No one speaks, no one laughs, no one sneezes. And the most disturbing part, no one seems to age. Children you saw earlier are still children. An old woman brushing her porch has the exact same loose strand of hair for hours. You tap a man on the shoulder. He turns to you, smiles. Too wide, too long. Then he walks away, still smiling, even when he's no longer facing you. You step into a candlemaker's shop. He nods as you enter, still dipping wicks like clockwork. You ask, "Do you remember the cellar?" He replies, "The days are warm, the nights are kind." That's not an answer. You try again. "What year is it?" He smiles. "It's the season of the bell." Great. Either he's reciting poetry or his programming is glitching. You take a candle from the shelf. Its wax is warm, fresh. Not hours old, moments old. You smell it. Lavender. And something like weight. That's iron. And ashes. You return to the small cottage you woke up in, your unofficial hideout. There's a blanket by the fire. A steaming mug of something that smells like spiced cider. No one was here. No one should be here. You sit. Because, well, you're tired. This day has been long and looping and bent at the edges. The cider warms your hands. You take a sip. It's perfect. Like it knows what you like. Like the village knows you now. There's a knock at the door. Just one. Soft. Respectful. Polite even. You freeze. It knocks again. You open the door. No one is there. But on the ground, a note. Folded neatly. No handwriting. Just two embossed symbols. Sun and moon. Again. And again. You look up. And across the street, in a darkened window, someone is watching. A figure, pale and silent, with their hand pressed against the glass. Not moving. Not blinking. Just watching. That night you tried to sleep. The bed is warm. The sheets are impossibly soft. A fire crackles. A lullaby plays somewhere in the distance, as if from a music box inside a wall. But you can't, because the silence feels too staged. Like it's watching to see how long it takes you to let your guard down. Like the village is waiting. For what? Another choice? A mistake? Or just your surrender? Outside your window, the square is quiet. Except the same man walks by. Every 15 minutes. Same steps. Same nod to the same window. Over and over. And in that window, still the same pale figure. Still watching. You start to wonder, what if this village isn't trapped in your time? What if you're trapped in theirs? The morning smells like baked apples, pine wood, and something else. The faint electric scent of air right up before a storm. The village is waking again, and so are they. You step outside. The cobblestones are damp, as if the night cried quietly to itself. The same woman sweeps the same doorstep. The blacksmith's hammer rises, falls, too perfectly. But today something is different. Someone stumbles. It's the old man who usually feeds the goats. You've seen him walk this same path every morning, like a wind-up toy that only knows one route. But today he stumbles mid-step. He doesn't fall. He just hesitates, like a thought entered him. He looks at his hands, turns them slowly, flexes each finger like he's just now discovering them. Then he looks up, directly at you, and says, "You're not supposed to be here." You freeze, not because he spoke, but because it was the first original sentence you've heard since this village woke. He doesn't say anything else, just turns and walks away. You try to follow, but the other villagers begin to move faster. It's subtle, the baker kneads more aggressively. The blacksmith's hammer now rings like an alarm. The woman at the well pulls the rope in jerky, unnatural spasms. It's as if the village itself is trying to cover for the slip-up, trying to distract you, trying to rewrite what just happened. But you saw it. He spoke. He knew. You duck behind a cart and take the path he took, a narrow trail behind the herbalist's hut, overgrown, forgotten. And strangely, you feel relief. This path feels unpolished, uneven, human, not designed for repetition, not part of the loop. You follow his footprints through a field of tall grass and wet earth. They're deep, real, proof of weight, of choice. You find him near the woods, leaning against an old stone well, panting, his eyes wide, more awake than anyone else you've seen. He sees you and doesn't run. "How long have I been dreaming?" he asks. You say nothing. He nods like that was the answer. "They told me I was a boy, and then suddenly, I wasn't. Just a roll, a rhythm. Same day, same hour." He grips the side of the well. "We're all trapped in a story someone else wrote. But you," he squints, "you're not a page, you're a pen." You ask him what this place really is. He points into the well. "Look, but don't drop anything. It'll never come back." You lean over. It's pitch black, but not natural darkness, the kind that rejects light. You drop a pebble. No sound, no splash, no end, just silence. You whisper into it. Nothing comes back, not even your echo. You turn to him, but he's gone. No sound, no footsteps, just a gentle sway of tall grass where he once stood. But in the dirt where he had leaned, someone etched a phrase with their finger. He watches from the bell. You never liked that bell. It rang at the same moment, every hour on the hour. Not a second late, not a beat off, too perfect to be real. But now you know it's not a clock. It's a signal, a restart, a suppression. And someone is up there, pulling the rope. Not a mechanism, not gears. Someone. You climb the narrow staircase of the church tower. It dust shakes loose. The stairs creak in odd rhythms, like resisting your weight. Halfway up, the air changes. It's thicker, charged. You hear humming, low, broken humming, like someone trying to remember a song from long ago. The stairs end at a door, a heavy iron slab with a small viewing slot. You look through, and you see a boy, no older than 12, pale, thin, eyes wide and unblinking. He's standing by the rope, just standing, waiting. He looks at the giant bell, then at the wall where hundreds of names are scratched. Some are in Latin, some in your own handwriting. He reaches out, places his hand on the rope, and freezes. He hasn't rung it yet. He's waiting for the hour. But you're early. He senses you, turns slowly, and smiles. Then quietly, "Did you come to stop me?" "You found the boy in the bell tower." He asked, "Did you come to stop me?" You didn't answer. "Now, you've descended again, back into the village." but it's no longer pretending you're not here. The boy never rang the bell. At least, not while you were watching. You left him standing there, fingers twitching near the rope, whispering someone's name that wasn't yours. You told yourself it was curiosity that made you walk away. But you knew better. It was dread. Not of the boy, but of the answer. You step back into the cobbled square. It's early evening now. A soft purple haze coats the rooftops, and lanterns flicker to life exactly as you pass each one. Too synchronized, too obedient. The villagers are gone. Not vanished, just not visible. Shutters are closed, doors gently shut. The square is empty, and yet everything is prepared. A table has been set outside the inn. One chair, a steaming bowl of stew, a thick wool blanket folded neatly beside it, a book placed next to a warm mug, and your name, handwritten on the inside cover. The innkeeper's cat is curled by the hearth. You've never seen it blink, but now it does, slowly, then looks at the chair. An invitation. You sit, because of course you do, because you're tired and it's warm and no one's forcing you, right? The stew tastes like the meal you miss the most. Not what you want, what you ache for. The kind of flavor that wraps around memory and squeezes. A recipe no one should know but you. You flip open the book. It's blank. Then words begin to bloom across the page, written in handwriting you recognize. Your own. The village of Elderglen has adjusted its design. Welcome, anchor. You blink. More text appears. The bells no longer require scheduling. The rhythm has accepted your presence. You turn the page. It turns itself back. Page 1. Your name. Your birthday. A memory you've never told anyone. Then, comfort is control. You are being soothed into agreement. The mug rattles. The tea shifts color, light brown to ink black. A face reflects briefly in the surface. Yours. But smiling too wide. Not blinking. Familiar? You drop the mug. It doesn't fall. It recoils as if caught in invisible hands and sets itself neatly back on the coaster. The blanket begins to unfold itself. It drapes over your shoulders, like it knows, like it's trained to. The fire inside the inn flares, even though no one touches it. The cat begins to purr. You feel the table vibrate softly like a living thing humming under its breath. You stand. The table immediately resets. A second bowl of stew appears. Now there are 2 chairs. The book has closed. The blanket slips from your shoulders and folds itself neatly again. A gentle knock echoes through the square. Not from a door, but from the sky. 3 short knocks, like the sound of knuckles on wood above your head. Then silence. The lanterns dim, and the bells begin to hum. Not ring, hum. A deep, low vibration like something metal breathing. You look up. The moon is not right. It's too round, too close, too still. And it's glowing with the same amber hue as the lanterns. The sky isn't real tonight. You move through the village. Your footsteps now make no sound. Even gravel does not crunch. The world feels muffled, pillowed. You pass the tailor's window. The mannequins are posed mid-stitch, mid-smile. You could swear their heads turn to follow you, but only if you blink. You pass the butcher shop. Everything inside is too clean. Knives laid out like surgery tools. Meat that looks suspiciously sculpted, not harvested. There is no smell, no rot, not even spice. You lift a curtain behind the counter. There's no back room, just another copy of the same front room. Mirrored, impossibly deep. Like a glitch in reality, trying to fold space into itself. You step back quickly. Back in your cottage, the fire is still going. The bed is still made, but the rug by the hearth has moved. Just a few inches. You lift it. There's a hatch, a rope handle. Not locked. You open it. Below, darkness, but not silent. Rustling, slow, methodical, like someone turning pages with gloved fingers, or rats reading diaries. You lower yourself in. The ladder is warm. As you descend, the space widens. You're underground. But this isn't a basement. This is a library, not of books, but of people. Rows and rows of villagers, eyes closed, standing perfectly still. Their chests rise and fall in slow unison. Each wears a name tag, handwritten. Each has a candle above their head. Some are lit, some are not. The wicks on the dark ones are still smoking. You step closer to one with a lit candle. It's the blacksmith. His mouth is moving, barely, repeating one phrase. I remember the fire. I remember the bell. I remember. Then silence. The next villager. I remember the stew. I remember the boy. I remember. Silence. Then a third villager's candle goes out. Right in front of you. You look up. Someone's standing at the top of the ladder. A silhouette. Not moving. Not speaking. Just watching. Holding a second blanket. You're in the underground chamber, surrounded by villagers frozen mid-murmur. Someone stands at the top of the ladder, holding a blanket. The silhouette doesn't move. For a long while, neither do you. Just the rows of softly breathing villagers in their candlelit alcoves, whispering fragments of memory. A candle flickers. Another sputters. Then the figure finally descends. Not hurried, not slow, just inevitable, as if it always knew this moment would come. It's the seamstress, the one you saw earlier, mending sleeves with invisible thread. Her eyes glisten in the dim. She places the folded blanket gently on the stone floor, beside your feet. You looked cold, she says softly. She turns, begins walking between the villagers, brushing dust from their shoulders as if tending a collection. She does not look at you again. This place isn't meant to be visited twice, she adds. But you're different, aren't you? You try to speak, but your throat is dry. She pauses beside a man with an extinguished candle. She touches his cheek. He didn't stay cozy enough, that's all. Some people want the truth. Others, she glances at you again, want a bedtime story. She walks back to you and holds out a small leather-bound booklet. Your name is embossed on the cover. You open it. It's empty. She smiles. It hasn't been written yet, but we've made room. She takes your hand, gentle but unyielding, and leads you deeper underground. The passage narrows. The villagers disappear behind stone walls. Soon the tunnel is lined not with candles, but with eyes, painted, drawn, carved. Thousands of them, in hundreds of styles, childish scribbles beside Renaissance-level masterpieces, all staring straight ahead, all toward where you're going. Some blink, but only when you look away. You arrive at a circular chamber. No corners, no shadows. Just velvet walls that breathe, like lungs too polite to exhale near you. In the center, a cradle, a crib to be exact. Inside it, a wax figure, shaped like you. Not a doll, not a toy, a perfect replica. Still, soft, smooth, and slowly warming. You step closer. The seamstress doesn't stop you. You touch its cheek. It's warm. Its chest rises. It's breathing. A door appears where none had been. It creaks open, not outward, but inward. The velvet folds away like parting curtains. You don't see a room beyond. You see your bedroom. Back home. Real. Bed unmade. Books on the floor. Your cup on the nightstand. Still half full. It looks wrong in the context of Elderglen. Like someone copied your real life from memory, but got the tone wrong. The light is too soft. The edges of furniture flicker slightly, like an old videotape. Then you hear something, your own voice, from inside the bedroom, laughing. Then silence. The seamstress whispers beside you. You've already started adjusting. That room is your exit, but you can only leave through it once. You stare, and as you do, a hand appears in the cradle. Yours, the wax version. It raises slowly, points at you, then curls into a fist, then opens, offering the tiny leather booklet. You never gave it that. You back away. The seamstress sighs. Not yet then, she says. No matter, you'll return. She kneels beside the cradle and hums a lullaby. It's off key, but familiar. Your grandmother's. But she never recorded it. Never sang it outside the kitchen. You remember that clearly. So how the velvet walls begin to close in again. The tunnel behind you reopens. Only this time, it's filled with stairs, leading up, made of stacked books, the kind that shouldn't be solid underfoot. Each spine bears your name, but with different titles. The one who stayed too long, the anchor who broke the bell. Chapter 31, the decision that breathed. You climb. You don't look back. At the top, you emerge back into your cottage. Exactly where the rug once was. Blankets still folded. Book still closed. Stew, cold now. Only this time, there are no windows, no door. The world outside is a painted canvas nailed to the wall. And behind you, the bell tolls. Once, then silence. You sit. The blanket crawls over your shoulders on its own. The book opens. You read the first line. You made the right choice, even if you didn't choose. The page turns itself. You read. The cottage is still. No ticking clock, no wind. No sounds from the woods beyond the painted windows. Just the soft turning of pages. You don't know who is turning them. Your hands are still. Each page reads like something between a memory and a prophecy. The warmth is not in the fire, it says, but in the things that choose to gather around it. You glance at the hearth. It crackles to life, not with flame, but with glowing embers shaped like tiny people. Little silhouettes sit cross-legged in the ash. They hold hands. They seem to be humming. One turns, looks straight at you, and waves. You blink. They're gone. The fire now burns normally, comforting, safe. You rise. The blanket tightens around your shoulders like a gentle insistence. The walls of the cottage are not as you remember. Photographs have appeared, framed and nailed perfectly, lining the timber walls. Images of your life, but slightly off. There's you as a child, holding a birthday cake, but the number is 1 year ahead of when it should be. There's you on a bike you never owned. There's one of your current self, sleeping, here, in this room. But you've never slept here. Not yet. On the kitchen table, a fresh loaf of bread, still steaming. No one baked it. A note sits beside it, scrawled in familiar but trembling handwriting. You'll need your strength. Not everything that smiles means you well. You pick up the loaf. It's warm, soft. Smells of rosemary and something sweeter, like molasses. But when you cut into it, there's no bread inside. It's hollow. And at the center sits a single brass key, wrapped in twine. The cottage clock chimes. Even though you didn't know there was a clock, 3 slow, syrupy notes echo through the room. Then a knock. Not at the door. There is no door. It comes from the fireplace. Another knock. Then a voice, muffled and strange, like someone speaking through layers of wool. You left the book open too long. A long pause. Then the voice again. If you want to stay, you must forget. You back away. The blanket tries to hold you in place, but gently, like a worried friend. You clutch the key. The knock repeats. Slower. Then silence. You step closer to the fire. The flames part, not doused, but pulled aside as if by invisible hands. Beyond the hearth, a tunnel. Circular, lined with quilted walls. A hallway of stitched velvet and threadbare cloth. The kind of tunnel only dreams could dig. You crawl in. The warmth follows you. Not hot, Just the kind of heat that smells like tea and old books. The tunnel descends gently. You pass a mirror. Only it doesn't reflect the tunnel behind you. It shows a room, an unfamiliar one. Someone is sitting in a rocking chair, face blurred, rocking slowly. Their hand rests on the book you were just reading. The mirror fogs up, and when it clears, the person is gone. The tunnel ends at a wooden door, ornate, with carvings that shift when you're not looking. Your fingers twitch. You hold the brass key. You insert it into the lock. It fits, of course. But as you turn it, a sudden warmth pulses up your arm, like the key is remembering you. The door opens to a new room. A living room, to be precise. It looks like something from a storybook. Crooked bookshelves. Knit blankets folded with precision. Tea already steeped. And a sleepy black cat curled up on a high-backed chair. It looks safe. But on the wall above the mantel, a portrait of you, smiling. But the eyes are just a little too large, and the smile a little too still. You approach. There's a plaque below the frame. The one who stayed in time. The cat lifts its head, stares at you with slow, deliberate blinks. It opens its mouth, not to meow, but to speak. You're doing better than the last one. Its voice is old, like wrinkled pages in candle smoke. The village likes you, but it's testing how much of you is left. It stands, stretches, and hops down. Come, it says. We've much to prepare for. The evening bell is nearly due. You follow, because of course you do. The air in this room is heavier, like honey. Every step you take, the floorboards creak in musical notes, forming a lullaby you don't recognize but somehow know all the words to. The cat leads you to another hallway. At the end, another door. This one isn't locked, but as you touch the knob, your reflection appears in it. Only it doesn't move with you. You turn your head. The reflection stays still, eyes watching. A second you, or something close enough. You blink. It smiles and mouths. You're almost ready. The knob is still cool beneath your fingertips. Your reflection inside it, still watching, still smiling. Not like you smile. Too gentle, too knowing. The kind of smile one wears when they know how the story ends. The hallway behind you has vanished. Not collapsed. Just folded away, like a page turned backward in a book you weren't done reading. You open the door. It creaks, but softly. The kind of sound that says, you're not the first. The room beyond is circular and vast. Far too vast to exist within the walls of any cottage. The air smells of lavender and old rain. The floor is covered in moss, real moss, cool and springy beneath your feet. Above you, the ceiling shifts like a twilight sky. But it's not the sky you know. It's filled with tiny floating lanterns, each glowing gently, and each one contains a memory. You see them. Someone's first steps. A kiss beneath a willow tree. The moment someone forgot their own name. Laughter. A scream cut short. A rocking cradle. Thousands of glowing orbs, all drifting like dandelion seeds in slow motion. And in the center of the room, a well. But not for water. The cat walks ahead, tail high like a question mark. Sit, it says. You do. The moss feels like an old friend. The well is made of stone, carved with scenes of villagers. Some familiar, some not. They are depicted dancing, mourning, harvesting wheat, and waiting. Always waiting. The cat hops up onto the edge of the well. You'll hear the bell soon, and when you do, you must not answer it. You look up, even if it's your name they call, even if it's your voice that speaks. The cat's eyes narrow. Elderglen wants to keep you, but it wants to change you first. A pause. The cat watches a memory float past. A tiny lantern filled with the sound of rain and a child's giggle. Not all places that feel like home are safe. Suddenly a soundless toll. You don't hear it, but you feel it in your bones, in your teeth, in your dreams, ones you haven't even dreamt yet. The lanterns flicker. Some burst, raining ash that never reaches the ground. Others dim, turning cold and gray, falling like stones into the moss. Vanishing on contact, the well glows. It begins to hum, and with it, the carvings shift. Now the villagers are no longer waiting. They're watching, looking up, looking straight at you. And then the voice comes. Not from outside, not from inside either. From somewhere else. A voice that knows you. But it doesn't say your name. It says something older. Something buried. A name you've never spoken aloud but always known. And your mouth begins to open on its own. The cat leaps onto your chest with claws that do not pierce but anchor. No, it hisses. Not yet. Your jaw clenches again. The room darkens. Only one lantern remains. And it floats down, landing softly in your hands. It is warm. Inside it, a memory. But it's not yours. You see a woman, a villager with white braids and dark eyes, hiding a book beneath her floorboards. You see the same well. You see her speaking to a cat. You see her walking into the fog barefoot. You see her never return. The memory fades, and you hear a second toll. Quieter, but closer. The moss begins to retreat, curling inward toward the well. The cat speaks, quieter now. She left the book open too long too. You hold the lantern tighter. You don't know how, but you're sure of one thing now. This story is not being written. It's remembering itself through you. You're not a visitor. You're a chapter that forgot its title. The cat leaps down. Come, it says. It's time you saw where the bell sleeps. You follow. The walls fold inward like origami, becoming a staircase. Not stone, not wood, but pages. You step on sentences. You feel them vanish beneath your weight. Each step forward, the cat says, writes over a step you could have taken. You ask nothing. You just listen. Because the further you go, the quieter the world becomes. Until at the bottom of the stairs a door. No keyhole. No knob. Just a plaque that reads, "Turn back if your name still belongs to you." And so, dear dreamer, the door remains unopened. For now, beneath the mossy floors of Elderglen, the bell sleeps once more, and the cat, its fur the color of old ink, disappears into the folds of shadow and memory. Perhaps you never truly left the village, or perhaps you never truly arrived. The lines between visitor and story, reader and page have long since blurred. Outside, the candle in your window still flickers. The wind in the trees still hums that secret tune. And the villagers of Elderglen? They go about their dusk-lit rituals, tending to their mysteries, watching the sky for signs that another lantern is about to descend. Maybe one day you'll return. Or maybe you never stopped being here. But for now, rest easy. Let your breath slow. Let the voice of the forest cradle your thoughts, and the hush of forgotten paths guide you into gentle sleep. Because in Elderglen, nothing is ever truly lost, only waiting to be remembered. Good night, traveler, and dream carefully. See you tomorrow.